So this is awkward. I guess hi for the first time in about 3 years or so. Let's just get into it. Let me show you my 1961 Ford Econoline that I've been working on for the past year and a half. So this is Big Booty Judy. She's a 1961 Ford Econoline, and instead of feeling like an idiot taking a selfie, I'm gonna just turn this camera around so I can show you what I want to show you. So let me assure you that it looks much shittier in person. The saturation that this phone adds makes the van look a lot better than it really is. And I just cleaned it, so this is about as good as it ever looks. It's a real piece of shit, but it's mine. And financially speaking, it's probably the worst mistake I've ever made. But I don't know, personally, I feel like I've grown a lot. I'm a much more patient person than I have ever been before. Before I used to order some stuff. You know, actually that still hasn't changed. I used to order some stuff and I just checked the tracking number about 5 times a day and just lose my mind until the package showed up. This has just been an exercise in patience. I don't even know how to put it into words. This was rough. So many ups and downs, mostly downs, but now, if you notice, we got that sweet ass license plate on here now. We're legal, we can go wherever we want, and things are good. So let me show you, let me just tell you about it. I bought this from a guy, I forget his name. I wish I did remember his name so I could publicly shame him, but his company was called Clark Lake Classics out of Clark Lake, Michigan, and his name was John Gozinski. I remember it. Fuck that guy. Okay, so he said, "Oh, I got this cool van. Everything's fine. Zero rust. Everything is just perfect on it. It's just original patina. Everything's beautiful. Drive it anywhere." And the guy was completely full of shit. 100% full of shit. I overpaid for what it was, and because it was the shape that it was in. And because I'm not in America, because I'm in Japan and shipping is crazy, I spent a lot of money just to get it this far. And if that guy dropped over dead, I would not even care. So Clark Lake Classics in Clark Lake, Michigan, those are the guys to avoid. Okay, but I basically got it to where I thought it was when I bought it. Well, let's go through some prices. I don't know, let's get some face in here. That makes a better video, kind of. So I paid $6,000 for the van, and $2,000 to get the van to California. I had to change the engine. That was $3,000. Just put a new distributor in it. That was $500. Some of the stuff I put on there, I didn't have to. If you see that sweet trim, side trim, that wasn't necessary, but I wanted it and put it on. That was $500. Just parts, little stuff, little tiny stuff. Even as far as little nuts and bolts, sometimes I had to order. It was a nightmare. As far as how it looks physically, there was no surprises there. One thing, if I point it out to you, you'll notice it, and then you can't see it either, but do you see, I didn't really notice this color difference in pictures. So it was, you know, basically every mistake you could have made when buying a used car, I made every single one of them. I didn't even consider that Michigan is a rusty piece of shit state. Sorry if any of you guys are from Michigan. So it's the guy who had it, obviously that was all rusted out and somebody changed it, but they just used really crappy primer. That primer stripe really bothers me, and I didn't notice that when I bought it. Okay, so no rust, he says.
Yeah, this is a rust-free car, guys. So rust-free. Not a one little flake of rust on this thing.
Yeah, these weren't, no pictures of this when I bought it. No pictures, only the most flattering pictures you could find. Obviously, I should have had somebody out in the area go look at it before I bought it, but it is what it is. Okay, so physically, it's about what I expected. You know, as far as the appearance of it goes, I like the way this looks, and especially in Japan, where it's rare to see a car on the road that's even 10, 15 years old that really stands out more looking like this than if it was nice and clean. And the longer I live here, the more I just am somewhat rebelling against Japanese society, so I kind of like that it looks like shit. Okay, let's go inside. So this is my this is the driving station. If you see, I'm sitting right, my legs are right in front of the tire. I'm sitting right above the tire, so if I ever crash, I'll be the first on the scene. I added a lot of little extras. A friend of mine from Idaho, his grandpa had an old Econoline in a field, and he gave me these sun visors because sun visors are an option. Everything, basically Ford was the cheapest they could be with this car. A stripper model Econoline had nothing. You see those door handles? These are also an option. And I put those on. Same friend gave those to me. Glove box door. That didn't come with the van. I had to find this. And here's my paperwork. It's kind of messy in here. Glove box inner. The original one is made out of cardboard, and I wasn't into that. And basically, I've just grown so much. I wouldn't call myself a fabricator, but now when something breaks or I need something, I usually go the route of I'll make it instead of saying I'll buy it. So I made this glove box inner out of sheet metal, and I put a Bluetooth stereo in here because I like the way this looks and I don't want to ruin the atmosphere of the car. So I kind of put the modern technology hidden away in the glove box so that it doesn't ruin the atmosphere. Ashtray right here with gasoline receipts inside. This is only an AM radio, but it's not hooked up to an antenna or anything. It's just for looks right now. I put in these gauges, and these are nostalgic for me because the very first truck I ever had, the 76 F100, had these same Stewart Warner gauges in the dash, so it's kind of a callback to my first truck. So I got oil pressure, water temperature, vacuum, and my voltmeter. When I bought it, okay, let's just say appearances are what they are, but when I bought the car, when I stepped on the brake, the way he had it wired up, when I stepped on the brake, my right blinker would turn on. And it just like, when I first saw it, oh yeah, that's perfect. So when I saw it, I was stoked because I'd been waiting. It's been so long, I don't remember how long it actually took, but from the time I bought it to the time it actually landing in Japan, I want to say it was 4, 5, 6 months. So I was just full of, I was just so excited to see it, and my bubble burst when I saw it for the first time because it was way shittier than I thought it had been. But I was still really optimistic at this time. And I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, just gotta, because he told me, the only thing he told me that was wrong with it, he said, well, it's a whole story. I'll make another video about dealing with this dick from Michigan. But he said the only thing that was wrong with it was the emergency brake was broken and the blinker was not working. So that's what I was expecting. That's the only thing I was expecting, a car that would run and drive. So when I saw how shitty it was in person, I just felt deflated, but I was really optimistic. I was like, well, we're just going to change this, going to do this, and what? So what? We'll be out another couple months, but it'll be no big deal. So, and then it just, every single time I'd fix this and something would come up there, I'd take this apart and the next thing I saw was broken. So I was like, okay, well, this is already taken apart, so we might as well rebuild this or rebuild that. So I was advertised running and driving. Drive anywhere was even said in the ad, but it took, and part of it is because Japan is really strict about some stuff. A lot of stuff flies in America that won't fly over here. But I was expecting a much better car, and when I saw it, I was deflated. But again, financially, I got really screwed on this. But as growing as a person, this is probably one of the best things that happened to me. So yeah, let me show you some features that I like in this van. There's not very many features in a van like this, but just let me show you. Okay, obviously no air conditioning in this van, and I made a mistake. I'm gonna have to redo this. I put these mirrors on, and I'm an idiot, but I put the spacing on wrong, and I can't open these vent windows because they hit my mirror. I can, if I really want to, I can take out these 4 screws and open it and just do what I need to do, but it just drives me crazy that I haven't, and I think I'm gonna rebuild these doors, because listen how it just sounds like a garbage can when I shut these doors, and the crank is not easy to do. I gotta kind of lift up on this window when I pull the crank, so I'm gonna fix this mirror issue when I rebuild my doors and do all the trim and felt and stuff in here. But for air conditioning, we got lots of windows, and I got 4 pop outs. So those windows pop open and scoop the air in. The windows pop open backwards and let air out. But these are my favorites. The headlights, so that's the headlight, and that pretty chrome trim. But it's basically it's direct. I don't know if you can see you can see some sunlight through there. It's basically just a ram air effect right into your legs. And when you're wearing shorts, the wind goes right up your pant leg, circulates some air around the testes. Feels fantastic. Let me show you an example of some work that I've done and what the van is now here. So, do you see this pretty wiring on these gauges? Oh, that looks so good. Everything's nice and soldered up. Everything's zip tight. Everything's routed correctly. Oh, whoever did that really knew what they were doing. Okay, now look at the rest of the wiring in this van. No. It's a mess. It's so, I don't even know where to start. It's so messed up. These vans are already very quirky when it comes to, I don't know if you can see anything down there, when it comes to how they're wired. And this van is just so far gone as far as like making something out of the wiring. So when I get a garage, I'm gonna buy a wiring kit and just do it completely over from scratch. This was something I needed. It was in my old, I used to have a 1964 Econoline, and I had the deluxe horn, and I kind of just, everything is about nostalgia for me, so I found one of these. People are way overcharging for these, but I managed to find one. Another feature I added was, you see these this white trim around the windows that goes all the way around. That's all fiberglass, and that also came in the what was called the Falcon Deluxe version of the van. And this is basically, well, this is weird. Okay, so this is a Falcon. It's considered a Falcon, but according to Ford, there was no Falcons built in 1961, so this might be a rarity of one that kind of made it before the model year actually officially began. But this is the kind of Falcon trim, club wagon trim, Falcon Deluxe trim, and I wanted that too because my last van had it, and it's pretty ugly without it, but it's very long. That is one piece from the very back of the van all the way to right in front of that seat belt, and it's very, very, very expensive to ship. and I have no experience with fiberglass, but everything was just a leap of faith. So I bought the parts from the guy, and I said, this is going to be crazy, but why don't you just cut up the pieces so it will be more affordable to ship, and then I will repair the fiberglass once it gets to Japan. And that's what I've done. It's not been painted, and it needs to be sanded, the whole thing, but you know, it's here, and I didn't spend $600 to ship it over. All of those holes that you see, those are all had to be drilled by me. Okay, seat belts, those were not here when I bought it. The van didn't even have lap belt, and the van came with 2 nice bench seats, and I just have them out because we go camping in here sometimes. But I bought 2 seat belts for the back too. So that's that. This is the heater box. I had to replace the heater core. That was $200. Let me say the trim was about $400. I don't remember how much it was to ship here. Maybe $100, $200. Do you see this chrome trim that goes all the way down? That's very rare and hard to find on the van. You know, without buying a parts van. So I jumped on that. That was about $400. I somehow managed to get that over here for about $150 shipping. Okay, the engine. The guy said the engine that came with the van was just rebuilt. He took some pictures of it. Some very low lit pictures. Upon further inspection after buying the van, it was complete garbage. Oil caked, compression barely any, compression all over the place. So I have plans on building a hot rod version of this engine. So I want to have a spare block and a spare head, so I imported a long block. This is a Ford 200 inline 6, by the way. Yeah, so I brought a long block, and that was $3,000 including shipping. And I brought that over here and put it in. And there's some more stuff I got to show you underneath, but the engine was $3,000. I just burnt myself on my radiator. That hurt. Carb, when I bought it, had a really crappy Chinese carburetor on it. A friend of mine, same one, who gave me the armrests and these visors, he got that to me for free as well, so that was helpful. I rebuilt that, stuck it on. Last week, I put this new distributor in, this DUI performance distributor, 50,000 volts, crazy high performance, but I'm gonna, you guys laugh at me when I say this, but I'm gonna supercharge this, and this nice distributor was part of the preparation for that supercharger, so I paid $500 for that. Usually I could get one for cheaper, but not one that's gonna work well with my supercharging plans. Yeah, but it had a Chinese distributor on it, and it was garbage. So I replaced that recently. If any of you guys are hot rodders, you know that the fans from the 1990s Ford Tauruses are crazy high performance. They flow really great CFM. And because, okay, so look at this. Look how this car is designed. If this was a regular car, you know, the wind goes through the grill. And this is where the radiator would be on a regular car, but this is not a regular car. This is a Ford Econoline. So this is the radiator here. The radiator needs wind to go through to cool down the engine, but look, the front of the engine box just completely cock blocks the airflow. So to combat that, I put a beastly Ford Taurus electric fan on here, and because of that, no matter what I'm doing, it's about 180 degrees going up a pass. Hot days, cold days, it's all the same.
6時になりました。地域の皆さん、 子供たちの
It's a nice day.
見守りをお願いします。
Yeah, so as far as the engine goes, that's that. But you need to have engine mounts to put an engine in. And the 1961 had these really cheesy sheet metal engine mounts that just basically bolted here, and they basically, I don't know how to explain it. I might put a picture up, but they're no good, and the ones that came with the van were just rusted to hell. So I bought a 65 cross member for a later van where they revised the design, and I fabricated these mounts and welded them to my frame so that I could put in this later style cross member. Transmission is okay, not broken or anything, but it does not have a synchronized first gear, so it's just a pain in the butt to drive around town. I bought a real tough 3-speed with full synchros, but I haven't shipped it for my dad's yet. And then the differential is a Ford 7.25 inch, and again, nothing wrong with that as well, but there's no parts for it, so if it craps the bed eventually, I'm not going to be able to fix it. So I'm looking for a Ford 9-inch, and it's got an aluminum fuel tank that was in it when I bought it. Oh, looking down here, look at the springs. There's 4 right now, but on the stock Econoline there should be 5. When I bought it, there was only 3, and it made a really a ride that was really bouncy and easy to bottom out. And springs are very expensive, and you can't just buy them leaf by leaf, and they're heavy, so they're expensive to ship. So what I did is I went to a junkyard and I got some springs out of a K-van, and I put 1 leaf on each side. I think the front is a Honda K-van and the back is a Mitsubishi K-van. I like to say that I've got Mugen and Rally Art parts in my van. Basically, I've had to improvise a lot. For a lot of gaskets, my exhaust gaskets are from a Subaru SUV, so it's just stuff all over the place. I put new shocks all the way around, new bushings on all the springs all the way around, new sway bar links, new sway bar bushings. I had to remount and install new kingpins. The brakes are pretty much good to go when I bought it. Here's another thing. So the air does not, we talked about it before with this radiator, right? So the air does not, needs all the help I can get to through this radiator. Stock, they had belly pans to help scoop that air in, and the guy lied to me, said that it had it, but it didn't. So I had to make this belly pan with just some dimensions I found online. And I'm really proud of how it turned out. It's getting a little beat up because I have to take it off every time I do any kind of maintenance. But yeah, I'm really proud of how I've kind of grown as a fabricator through this whole thing. Oh, if you can see here too, let's talk about the air conditioning. Here's the headlight, and this is basically just a straight shot right into the interior. And they're cute. They're just really cute. The doors open really wide. I put this trim on, and that involved drilling a ton of holes. I think it was about 100 holes total that I had to drill to put that trim on. You see all of that? Those all had to be drilled by me. I'm not a body man. I suck at stuff like that, but I managed to make it work out. I even had to drill holes so that I could drill holes. Yeah, so the reason why I bought this, I've got a Mustang back home. That would have been fun, but for tax reasons, the Mustang wasn't going to work out because it's got a 351 Windsor in it, which has been bored out, so it's like almost 6,000 cc's here. And I think just because of the engine tax, I'd be spending about $1,200 a year on that. And I feel like I already got a car. At the time we had the Volkswagen GTI, and I felt like it's pretty fast. It's not that fast, but it was pretty fast. But bringing the Mustang over here wouldn't give me any new abilities. It just had another fast car. It looks cool, but just another fast car. So I figured, I went back home and I saw some pictures of my old van, and I thought, oh, that'd be nice. I've got a broken back right now, by the way. I'll tell you about that in a different video. My back is busted up. So I'm not been going off road very much lately, but at the time, a year and a half ago, I was going crazy off road. And I thought it'd be cool to have a vehicle to haul some bikes. Yeah, so I felt like if I got the van, I'd have a rig to bring some bikes around. We could go camping and stuff, and that's just something I couldn't do with the Mustang. And because it's got the inline 6 in it, taxes are not going to be as bad as with the V8. And I plan on making this V8 power levels anyways for the same tax money. So I don't know, I thought it'd be fun. And as much as I love my 68 Mustang, Mustangs are kind of overdone, and I'm kind of like, I don't know, how do you say, I can't remember the name. Hipster. Yeah, I'm not a hipster, but at the same time, if something's really popular, it makes me not as into it, and it's not a good personality trait, I think. But at the same time, I feel like Mustangs have been done. I kind of want to do something, especially with like supercharging this inline 6-cylinder. I just want to try something that hasn't done a million times before. So that was another part of the draw for me. I'm not a hipster, but I like being a little different. I don't know. All right, so what are we talking about? All right, so here's kind of a cool thing. These side doors are completely interchangeable with the back doors. And that's just a cool little, I don't know, it's not really helpful, but it's neat. Future plans, new differential, I need to bring that transmission over, looking to get that supercharger put on. Body, I feel like I'm going to leave it as it is. I might want to fix that. I'd like to maybe match this better. Gonna put new seals around all the windows, and maybe just get a little camper, kind of like a permanent camper set up, but still have space to load bikes. Yeah, but that's my 1961 Econoline. It's nice to be back in the Econoline community again. It's a really good group of people who I wouldn't have been able to put this together if, they didn't have parts and they didn't have advice for me. So I really appreciate all of them. So thanks for being patient with me for about two and a half, 3 years of not making any videos. But I don't know, from now on we might make some camping videos. We might a lot of the stuff, when I put that distributor in last week, I was thinking about making a video about it, but when it comes down to it, especially right now in the hot summer heat, you just kind of want to get it done, and I don't want to fuss around with cameras and stuff. But some of the stuff where it's I can take it apart and take it to my workshop, or maybe just some little stuff here and there I might upload. But I did promise you a video on my 61 Econoline, so there it is, and hopefully in the not too distant future you'll see some more stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for hanging with me, and bye bye.